Hey, welcome back to Ringworm. It's gorgeous here. Sorry for the rumble in the background. Taking the day to charge all my stuff up, processing some videos, charging my jackery, all my Ryobi tools, all the batteries that I killed building the bed in there. I'm so excited to get moved in there. And now that the bed's done, all I need are some shelves and then, I don't know, maybe like some clothes hooks or something. I think we can do this in, well, I got a couple hours today. I'm just gonna find the lumber and then tomorrow start ripping some edges and planing and whatever, see if we can figure out how to hang them up in there. This hasn't been uncovered in, I think, since the winter. So I just dug these giant ice balls off of here and some lumber I had sitting on top to hold the tarp down. And it looks like even my good tarp is not holding all the water out. So these top two, at least this one, this is a 2-inch cedar that has that cool spalted liney look. See, they got these really crazy edges on them and it's not very straight. So if I made a shelf out of this, I just draw a knife this crap off the edge, probably leave most of this character to the side and then just rip one flat edge on the back. So that would make it good. Yeah, I mean, that would be good enough. You could put books on it, tools, whatever you wanted. Yeah, look at that sucker too. That's really pretty. Well, actually this whole pile is pretty much like that. It's got a lot of character, but these are all 1-inch boards. And I can't tell you exactly why, but I want all these shelves to look really hefty. I don't know what this is. I guess this is cedar. It's not very wide. Oh, it is actually ripped off already on one side. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but it doesn't really have anything cool going on. Plus it's not very wide. Well, let's go. I got one more pile over here. That's the stuff I think Tito and I ripped up a couple weeks ago when we tried out the new giant mill and chainsaw. But somewhere around here there are 2 or 3 more like 10-footers, really wide, that have all the crazy colors. Let's go find those and then we'll take a look in the cabin and see where we even want to put these. I figured I'd see what I have on hand and kind of design backwards. But this stuff has been buried for so long I don't even know what's out here anymore. And the days are this beautiful, I don't even know what to do with myself. I mean, it's a perfect day to work, it's a perfect day to fumble around out here, it's a perfect day to go shooting. I haven't been shooting in a couple months and Tito and I did it a few days ago. We did the walking range. It's a freaking great time. Everything's a great time out here. I always feel like I need a drum roll to do this. I'm never quite sure what I got. That's all thinner stuff that we could use for the ceiling someday. Thin stuff, 3/4, 1 inch, 3/4. Here we go. Oh baby, I got 4 of them. There we go. That's all our shelves. How did I get 4? Oh, one of them's not that pretty. These are the same boards that the desk was made out of. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera what they actually look like, but there's a lot of color and stripes once you plane and varnish them. Well, that's sweet. That sucker's 14 inches wide. That'll make a giant shelf. Actually, when we bring these boards in here, they seem even longer. I always kind of forget how small this place is. I mean, it's bigger than any tent I've lived in, but not gigantic. I should actually measure this. I think it's about 180 something square feet inside. What am I going to do with all this space? Let's see if we can dry this out just a tiny bit. I know, you're checking out my bed, aren't you? Yeah, that's pretty sweet. See, it's got a fold-out backrest for when you're sitting in bed. Storage box, all made out of giant cedar. And it flips out to be a 2-person bed. Can't wait to sleep on that thing. I know, it's just gonna feel like a normal bed, but something about the transformery nature of it I really like. Man, it's hot enough in here and outside. Maybe we should get a little air. I think my computer's done processing. My batteries are almost done charging. We could turn that generator off. I'm having second thoughts now. I don't have enough of those cool boards to do all the shelves I want to do. That's partly because these are just so cool looking that I think I might want to save those for a table. Either a coffee table or maybe some end tables. I kind of hate to have to, well, to get to the point where I want a little end table next to a couch. Am I going to get a couch? And then I have to make it out of something that's not nearly as pretty as the shelves. So I'm kind of thinking about holding on to those two boards, in which case we have 3 9-footers. And I'm looking around here trying to think of like, which ones is it most important to have look nice? I mean, this big bare wall definitely needs storage on it. It's going to be over my bed, so it's not like, it's not going to be something you get to all the time, but if you just have like something to store, you know, like a bin of clothes and summer clothes or something, you could put them up high. And I guess, since those are so long, like 3 shelves there would use up all the nice lumber I have, so I think I'm going to leave those alone. I can mill a few boards up out of the log that's up on the sawhorses now. Those would be pretty big. Not pretty, but I mean, you're not hardly going to see the bottom of the board too much. So that leaves me with this spot. Let's see how many feet we got here. Oh, almost 5.5. Those boards are 9. So I'm only going to get 4.5-foot shelves. I mean, I guess I could either center it or I shove it all the way to the corner. I don't want that. Oh. Oh. What if we staggered them? This was the corner. This was the edge of the window. What if we did like, if I did 3 of them? Actually, I could put a piece, an extra scrap here and here. Actually, I could put it here and here too. That'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it? So just this one board would go out to the window, but these sides would give it stiffness. So then I just have to screw, I could just build it like this on the ground and then just put it all up as one piece. It'd give it like a cool lopsided look so it wouldn't be too boring for shelves. That's going to use up 1.5 of the boards. That leaves me 1.5 more of the same stuff. So where else do we have to have shelves here? I might just do a whole series of shelves going up there. That'd be cool. I could do them any size. This was in my big tent. I just put it in here for a work table. That's going to go out of here. But yeah, we could do shelves like there. Yeah, we could almost use up the rest of the other board and a half right there. Man, I don't know. Maybe we just have one there for now, like a end table-y thing for the jackery. We could put a few small ones in here. That'd be nice by the front door, the ones you'd actually see, so they'd be pretty. So what did we learn from all my yammering on? Nothing. If you can't make up your mind, just start on something you can make up your mind on. Let's build those shelves. Let's do it like off-centered, real funny. Oh man, that is some nice lumber. Doesn't have any holes in it really to speak of, not really any soft spots. It's got good character. Is it weird to make a shelf? I'm making a shelf out of it. It does have a little bit of a warp to it. That's all right. Everything in here is a warp to it, including me. I wonder if my battery-powered saw, yep, it'll cut through that. Let's see if we can rip the whole thing with the battery. Ooh, even the garbage is pretty. I do the 2 boards here, and then the 3rd one in the middle sticking out the end there, and it doesn't come all the way to the wall here. And instead of doing this going all the way down, I'm just going to put a foot here so it'll look extra bizarro. I think I'm going to have to do this as 2 separate 14-inch boards, and I have an idea. I wonder if we can't use this. I kind of like those weird ant holes. It'd be cool to have that on the end of the shelf. I think if I cleaned it out a little bit more and then I just saturated it with varnish, it would probably be firm enough. Maybe I have to cut it back just a tiny bit and just get that in the bottom. thinking something like that. And then I guess I'll use the skinny one for the bottom. I don't know. Probably gonna have to trim all these down just so the corners come together nice. Like these are fine, so they're almost flush there. This one sticks out a little bit, so I'll have to do some rounding on that. Although I don't know what it's gonna look like with the skinny one on the bottom, because where it meets this, it's probably gonna be way down here. So I'm gonna have to do some trimming or something. You know what I wish I'd done? Oh, maybe I could still do it. Instead of having this and this the same size, it'd be cool if they were offset a little bit too. Maybe I'll do that. I'll just cut this one shorter. Yep, let's do that. You know, I just woke up this morning and thought, it's important not to get stuck in a rut, so instead of French toast, I'm having slightly toasted bagels and scrambled eggs. And I know it's the same ingredients, but you know, you gotta mix it up sometimes. Definitely doesn't taste like French toast. It's another freaking gorgeous day. Do I have eggs on my mouth? I don't have anything to wipe it on, just deal with it. I think it's 30 degrees right now, heading up to like 38. Oh, this is why you want to live outside. Days like this kind of makes me want to set my tent back up. Yeah, I know, I'm coming. Just go get it laid out. I just gotta spit. I'm trying to pretend like I'm going to my job and I hate it. So the reason I left this support out is each board is supported at least 2 places, each shelf. So this is attached to the wall and here, so that's the shelf's not going to twist. This board has this connection, so that can't twist. And then this one is supported at that end, and then on the wall there. So I didn't bother putting that one in. I just kind of like the weird look of it. These are relatively twisty. I mean, when it was a 9-foot board, you could look down it and see, I don't know, some weird warps in it. Hopefully cutting it this size, chopping them down to like 4 feet, it won't be too big a deal. So I'm just gonna screw these together, you know, with my normal bag of screws. Not do anything too fancy so that when I get around to taking this whole place back apart, I could pull each board apart, mark them, feed them through the planer, put it back together, and then maybe even glue the joints. So let's trim a couple of these down and then screw it all together. Yeah, you know, let's run the hand planer over these. Take a little bit of the rough out of them right now. Busted off our extra piece. Actually, this is covered up by a shelf, so I guess that doesn't matter. Isn't that cool looking? With some varnish, it'll be beautiful. $65. Oh yeah, there's some warp to them. Let's see. Yep, the leg will go right there. Right about there. This one goes on the outside, so right there. It's making sense to anybody? And this one goes inside here. Ooh, yeah, something's, oh, it's because the floor is not flat. just a little bit twisty to get together. You know, I wonder if I'm going to be able to lift this onto the wall. Sucker's going to be pretty heavy. That's too big of a gap. See that right there? I have to figure out how to fix that. Yeah, my clamps are 6 inches short. This might just rip the other screws out, but I'm going to try it. Oh, it's working. Oh, it's working. Perfect. Just realized just to get this up there, this is going to be all floppy, so cut a 12-incher. Maybe we can clamp it in there until I can lift the thing up. Oh, don't step on the pretty shelf, you dummy. Hey, I want to show you something. I don't know if this will come across on camera. But you know, they have like snow tires and regular tires, and apparently, I don't think I've ever had snow tires. It's like a world of difference. At least that's what my cousin tells me that just got them. And you know, it's like softer rubber and they cut them differently, have different tread patterns or whatever. The rubber makes an enormous difference. I remember like a month or two ago, I was walking out, like if I'm working in here all day, I take my winter boots off and just put my shoes on so my feet don't get so sweaty. And then you walk out there where it's nice and icy, and almost ate it a couple times. Didn't think much of it. Walked out later with my boots on, my winter boots, not slippery. And I just did it again without thinking. I walked over to the man cave with my shoes on. It's like inviting the reaper. Well, let's see if I can actually show you the difference. I'll put one boot on here. I don't know if you can see. How am I supposed to show this? This is like ice. Completely different. It's crazy. Slide, stick. Slide, stick. This is like backcountry curling shoes. Ooh, oh. Wonder if I should try to make a curling, I don't even know what you call that. Court? Runway? Rink? That would be really fun. I have to figure out the water thing first though. If I get a water pump, if I figure out how to put a well out here, I'll do that. Make a spot for curling. We could mill up some, what would you use? Maybe like some cedar just for the outside of it, and then just pump water into it once it gets cold enough. I mean, if I had enough energy to pump and pump and pump, we could probably make like an ice skating rink out here. If nothing else, you know what we should make is like an ice toboggan run down the hill. See, all this comes from just almost cracking my head open out here. Like you can't even get the winter boot to slide. Okay, I don't know if that showed anything. Ooh, if I can get back here without busting my head. Well, that's why I have the helmet on. It's so easy to get distracted out here. Enough of that. That's pretty straight. Use our little spacer there. I kind of want to see if I can hold this up on the wall just to find out where it should go. And then I'll pre-drill some holes in here. Ooh, that's pretty darn good. Wow. I think I'd be able to squish it in there. Of course, everything's not square, but that came out quite nicely. Here's a scrap. We could use that for a kickstand. Let's see. How am I going to do this? I know. Don't even bother to ask you for help, because you're just going to sit there and watch. Oh, shit. I just put the end of the clamp through the insulation on the roof. Whoops. Well, it's there now. Wow, it was like a press fit. I think that's too high. Let's got another 2x4 chunk. Let's see if we can get it to slide down. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Yep. Okay. Yep. Is that better or is that too low? Hard to say. Maybe too low. Yeah, that feels too low. The other one felt too high. Can I get it? No hands. Okay. Don't worry, I got it. I could just leave it like that. Maybe put some bubble gum back in the corners, get it to stick. That looks better. Yeah. It's pretty incredible the difference between this that's varnished. This is the same wood. This is actually a scrap from one of these. Quite a difference. This wood is probably dry enough that I could varnish it. It's just that I can't put it through the big planer yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll varnish it now. Maybe I won't. I guess you guys will know sooner than I will, because if I varnish it, you'll see it in a couple minutes. It just seems so unfair. You guys know that stuff before I do. I'd like to do this from the bottom, but because of the way I cut the lumber to save as much as I can, there's a round edge on here, so there's nothing to screw into. I think that'll reach. Yep, that'll hit the stud. Dead on. Nice. Oh, it'd be really nice if I could get this without hitting a screw. Damn it. Hit it. I'm gonna split it. Just forced it by. That's alright. I don't think it broke anything. I think that's strong enough to hold my books. Yeah, that's solid. Woo. Alright, I got screws in every one. It's only this one that I hit another screw head, so don't tell anyone. I just drilled another hole off to the side. So there's one empty hole there, but it's kind of above where you can see anyway. So let's see what happens if we... Holy schmoly. Oh, putting the screws in probably sucked the whole thing down. I need a hammer. Did you hear the creak? Now what happens if we take this out? Nothing. Look at that. That looks cool. I'm glad I didn't just do like 3 long shelves with weird triangles underneath. I really like that. As much as I hate sanding, and I probably should have done it before I put it all together, I think I'm just going to hit all these edges with a little sandpaper. I didn't really want to router them off, but it'd be good to get the sharp edge off. Well, let's see if it'll hold anything. Oh, look at that! Oh, nice. For the time being, this is a good Ryobi tool storage. I'm not really going to leave all this stuff here, but you know, you got to try your shelves out. Make sure they're functional. I was just thinking, pretty soon, I'm going to have to start looking at the Goodwill kind of stores. See if I can find some nice oil lamps. I got one really cool one that Tito got me that's in the man cave. I use it pretty much every night. I'd like to find 2 or 3 of those and put them in here. But one of those lamps like in a corner is enough to like see your way around the room in the middle of the night. I was just thinking about that because I was wondering what was in this bag over here. It's this carbide lamp that Sarah got me for, what was it? Post-Christmas gift. Even got the can of carbide here. But I think it needs to be cleaned up. So sometime soon I'll have to take that apart. Maybe what we should do is, Tito's got one too. Maybe we should get them both working and then go for like a night hike out here just by carbide light. But until then, gotta find a cool place to hang it. Oh, okay, a couple more shelves and then we can start hanging stuff and moving in. It's funny how much your brain changes as you age. I'm just finishing up Desert Solitaire. I don't know what I thought of it when I read it a couple times when I was younger. I liked it, and now when I listen to it, it's almost hard to listen to. It's like hopeless negativity, but you keep listening because it's really nice writing and it's about the outdoors. I don't know, I guess Edward Abbey's just not for me. I just thought of another book of his that I read a bunch of times, was The Monkey Wrench Gang. If I'm remembering correctly, I definitely wouldn't want to listen to that now. Strange, I'm getting old, I guess. Before I put the rest of the shelves up, I'm just looking at these 3 logs I have here to see if perhaps they would have something cool inside of them. It's kind of hard to tell just looking at the butts, but it's like a little bit of color in the edge. Otherwise, doesn't look too interesting. That one doesn't look too interesting. Kind of the same with this one. You can tell there's a little bit of something in there, and then it's got a nice ring between the heartwood and the sapwood. But you know, generally you make a board out of that, and then you trim it straight on the edge. You lose all that stuff. Let's have a look at the other end here. Yeah, hard to tell. It's too dirty. I don't think any of those are going to be anything too impressive. Just kind of hoping those 3 with what I already have milled up would be enough to do the ceiling in here. Again, do I have food on my face? Just snacking on a little chocolate. Yeah, I guess that big log on the sawhorses, I'll chop that up. I kind of want to do it now. That's about the smallest log you'd want to use. I think you'd want to use for the big mill I got, the 36-inch mill. And I mean, the mill that I've been using to build all this would go through that just fine. But when you got a new giant chainsaw and mill, you kind of want to use it, you know? But I think I'll finish up with what I got here, which is just this one board and a little piece. So let's see, we got 9 feet there, and we got another 3 feet there. That's really a pretty one. Let's take it inside and see where it'll fit. I think it'd be nice to have a few right here. I don't know if those are going to be in the way. You're going to be bumping into them. You probably would if they were low down. Do maybe 2 or 3 there, something. So those are 18. So I could get 2 of them out of this board. Yep, exactly 2 of them. Well, let's do that. We'll make a couple of cool ones for right there out of that. And then we got 1 9-footer left. I guess the little one just to fit the battery on, that doesn't have to be pretty because that thing's always going to be sitting there. You'll never see the shelf. So we could do that out of something else. And then these shelves would just have to be 1, 2, I guess 3 of them there. 3 3-footers. Actually, yeah, 36. Wow, that'd be perfect. And then I got 3 studs to attach the shelf to. All right, that's it. This is gonna be easy. Just rip the edges off, chop them to the right size, and screw them in. Probably they're not gonna be strong enough with, oh yeah, that's a really wide board that I have left. That sucker's gonna stick out like a long ways. The issue is gonna be just putting 1 screw from the top into here is probably not gonna hold the board up. Well, if that happens, we'll find some other scraps and maybe make like a little tiny triangle under it or something. I do believe this solves the question. I'm going to varnish all these because these are kind of soft spots. I don't know if you can see in there, but this one's got quite a few. And I think if I leave this and just use it as a shelf, it's probably going to get full of a bunch of garbage. But as with the desk, once I put a few coats of varnish on it, it really firmed it up. Like you can't push your finger into it and break it or anything. Oh man, this got quite a bow in it too. I don't know if you can see, but it bows this way. That's why it needs to go through the planer. And I probably don't want to put it through the planer after it's varnished. Wish that planer would just work. Maybe you can buy those rubber rollers in there that are made for really cold temperatures. I doubt it, but you never know. Actually, this end has all the ant holes in it. I don't know if that's really going to work. So maybe we'll chop this up in a way as to get rid of most of the bend. And we just won't use this end for now. Yeah, this is pretty freaking warped. I guess I could work it down with the electric planer. This will be the bottom. It's cupped. I think I'm just gonna leave it. That doesn't really matter. All right, I've got a new plan, and it's not a good one. I don't seem to learn my lessons. I'm gonna get the big planer out. It's in the cabin, so it's warm. Should stay warm for a short amount of time. I just have to run 4 boards through it. And these are actually quite dry, unlike everything else I've fed through. There was like frozen. So I think if I plug it in, start the generator, go at it, I should be able to plane those 4. I mean, I could keep working it with a hand planer, maybe get it close, but I've already gone through 2 whole batteries. So let's see what happens. We'll throw it out there and just chuck stuff through it. Actually, the heat's not really on in there, and it was on the floor, so it's probably not gonna work for a 3rd time. You could really see the cup in the boards after you run it through here. You got to do the crown side first. That gets cut, so the crown gets cut off, and then you can flip it over. So I already cut the crown off. This is the back side. I don't know if you can make it out, but see how the planers hit this and this only. So every time you drop it down little by little, this will get wider and wider. Once you've got all the roughness out of the middle there, it'll be flat. Yeah, you can maybe see it there better. See how that's planed and that's planed? It's a lot of cup. It was going just fine, and then there was a rattle, and it just quit working. You can hear the motor take off, and then the cutter doesn't spin. Somebody doesn't want me to plane boards. I don't know who he or she or it is, but the one time I start making progress. Well, I found the problem. This thing is awesome. I mean, it works fine, I think, especially if you could plug it into a wall. But just the way this is designed is so cool. Disassemble the whole thing with one tool sitting in the top of the machine. It's all like really well laid out. The bolts you take out are like these red wing nut kind of things. So this is where the wood chips get blown out the back, and look what I found. I think it sucked up a knot from the board. It got in here, tried to get shot out, and got caught. Oh my gosh. Oh man, you could see it was, while it tried to stop the motor, it was just spinning around in here. It just cooked all that. You'll have to give that a little knife scraping just to smooth it out again. Yeah, wow. I don't know if you can make that out in there, but it's nice smooth plastic except for right here. It's all melted. Just a little bit of that and some of this right here, and then a little touch of that, and we're done. Check out how this thing goes back together. It is belt drive. You see the orange belt right there? You see this bike chain? I thought that was the drive at first, and I just opened it up, but that's what actually raises and lowers the whole thing. So when you crank this, it goes around the gear, all 4 gears at the same time. Pretty cool. And then there's some really well thought out safety stuff in here, which of course I had to circumvent. But like when you take this one cover off the cutters here, this thing pops up and locks it in place. This cover for the blower just goes, probably have to use 2 hands, goes back on there. Some of the connectors snap, and some of them they're 2 screws. Of course it uses this tool, which is really sweet. So that thing gets smushed down by this. And then these, you got to take it apart. You don't need an extra tool. Then there's another little kill switch right here. so that you don't run it without the cover on. But of course I had to see if it would work, so you just put your little knife right in there and don't tell anyone. I also like that when you take this thing off, it's just these 4 screws that this thing undoes. And I love that these screws are captive, so you're not going to lose them. Because I'd be the one that take this off, set it upside down, and they'd fall right down inside the machine. Only thing I haven't figured out yet, and I will at some point, is these are magnets. It's got to have something to do with the tool. I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to figure it out someday. Now, if it works, I'll be amazed. I mean, if I was able to take it all the way apart, fix it, put it back together without getting out a single tool, that'll be totally amazing. Oh man, you know, I'm gonna varnish it. I just really don't want to do all this upside down. Bottom of this, bottom of this, bottom of this will get drips everywhere, as well as the little shelves. So I think I might cut the shelves, get them all set to go up, flip them over, varnish them. Thing is, I'd like to get this video out to all y'all, but it's going to take forever to do that. I'd have to take this down, flip it over, put a coat on, get it to dry, so it might take a couple days, I don't know. Sand it off, put another coat on it, at least 2 on the bottom. Flip it over, do the same thing on the top. So we're talking like, I mean, realistically, 4 to 7 days or something to get it all to dry and then screw it back up there. But it's either I do that or I have to tape off all the wall all the way around, inside, outside, and deal with having a paintbrush full of varnish upside down here. So I've got these 2 shelves to put here. I think they got to be slightly, look at that fit, slightly above head level. Might as well round this corner off a little bit so you don't get that in the brain. It's just a question of the varnishing. Do I want to kill 5 days doing this? And the real big downside is that that stuff is gnarly. It stinks so bad. Like I'm not going to be able to do anything in here while it's drying. Boom! What do you think of those? Those look nice, right? Actually, there's no reason to screw these in, is there? Just drill the holes so I can varnish in there and then put them up later. This is for the battery. This is the slightly ant-eaten one. I found, I think this is the cutout. There are a whole stack of these where the rafters laid over the walls. I think that'll make a nice little brace on there. There it is. This nice big workbench I've got for this. Gotta take our spacer out of there. I'm gonna try my clamp jack again. Seems like it would work if it doesn't tip over. Ooh, nice. I love watching it change colors as it sinks in. It definitely gets a lot more yellow with the oil-based varnish, but I like it. Since this wood isn't completely dried, I definitely shouldn't be varnishing both sides of it. It's okay to like do the top and then the water can get out the bottom. Well, nothing I can do about this one now. I'm just going to keep going, seal it all up. I'm kind of curious to see this. What does it do? Dissolve from the inside if you seal it all in there? Only one way to find out firsthand. Holy crap, it is gnarly in here. That's on the can, it says indoor varnish. I don't think they mean that you should do the varnishing indoors. The smell is horrendous. I came back in here, it only took like 3 or 4 hours and I was able to put a second coat on, but any of the clothes that I was wearing in here just reek even this morning, so I put all the same stuff back on. We'll flip this all over, put a couple coats on the other side, and then I'm gonna have to burn these clothes. Man, I do not want to breathe it. Okay, here's the thing. Tito just got here an hour or so ago, and we just did a round of shooting. We did the 22 shooting range, which is I made for pistols. We just used his 100-year-old pump action 22 and my semi-auto 22 with the giant scope on it. It's cool because you could go to the target you'd shoot with your handgun and look way out there and see the next target and shoot that with the rifles. Anyway, we might have to do a couple more rounds and some other tomfoolery today, so yep, still got my shooting glasses on. So I'm gonna put these all these shelves up and just be done. You guys want this video to end, don't you? So I did 2 coats on the bottom, flipped it over, put 2 coats on, but this morning I sanded everything and then put the 3rd coat on the top, and it dried in 2 hours, 3 hours. So this is actually, I mean, it was gnarly after 2 coats with no sanding. This was really, really textury. And it came out great now. Probably can't tell with this weird light in here, but let's see if we can't stick that thing up there. When you live alone in the woods like this and you seldom see other people, you often don't realize the little things that you do that are slightly ridiculous. I need ear protection, like the drill. My impact driver it's too loud for my ears. So instead of getting earmuffs or something, as you've noticed, I always wear my chainsaw helmet. Makes sense, right? Got to use a drill. I'm gonna need head protection. I mean, Tito is here, he could help me, but he's sitting in the sun thinking about his life. Can't be good. Yep. That is strong enough. It looks great. Wonderful design. I mean, if you're into that kind of weird thing. And I think the best part is that. enough for keys or a coffee cup. God, they're so pretty. Nothing special, but still kind of cool. The only mistake I see I made is that I forgot to drill the holes in here before I varnished it to hang it on there. Not sure how that happened. It's all going to be covered up once you, like the Jackery is going to live on there, so you won't see the holes, but I'll drill them, put the screws in, the next time I get the varnish out, maybe I'll just dab it around those screw holes. Set this in the light, you can see it. This is the soft spots in the board, but after 3 coats of varnish, it's perfectly strong enough for what I'm going to use it for. Check out the cool knots in this one. I think that might be the hole that got stuck in the planer. This one was soft there too. Now it's totally fine. Yeah, these shelves are pretty deep. I don't know if this is 3 screws into studs is going to hold them up well enough. It's funny, the boards and the walls are so cut at funny angles that no matter what you do, everything looks like it's not quite level. Oh yeah, it's gonna need a kickstand of some sort. They look nice though. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna pain me to drill through this 3 coats of fresh varnish on here. I sure don't want to do this part. Bummer. Let's go for it. Yeah, that just hosed it. That's a shame right there. There it is. There. Oh, we won't have to see the screw holes. Well, I think for now that'll do it. I'd like to move my stuff in there right now, but I just don't think I can do it until that stink is completely gone. So let's see, I think the weather's decent tomorrow and the next day. So maybe day after tomorrow I'll shoot for moving in here. I kind of can't believe it. It seems so weird. I've been working on this thing for so long that, like, to actually have a day where I'm like, yeah, I live here now. It's just kind of mind-blowing. I also can't really put anything on the shelves until they're completely dry. But it shouldn't take too long. I mean, they're not sticky or anything. Quite happy with them actually. It makes it feel a little bit homier in here. But if you erase all the tools and everything from what you see, does this look livable? Would you dare try it? Actually might. When I got a little bit of sun left, I might make some supports for those. I could even dry them out in the man cave. I do still have these few boards that I cut off. Oh, I cut off these shelves. This is the other half of them. Might be able to make some like triangular pieces out of them. It's not so stank, but it's stank enough that you kind of feel it burn the back of your throat if you're in there for a little while. Well, hopefully the next video you see, I'll be taking all my tools out of here and moving in. Actually, the other thing I might do if I've got 2 days to kill is do that insulation in the floor. I can't remember if I showed you guys that or not. I'll show you what I got. It's just this double-sided foil with bubble wrap. I think 2 layers of bubble wrap in between. I still can't imagine that this is going to do much, but I'm going to try it anyway. I think we rip this right in half and then just go down below between the floor joists and staple them up there. I think you kind of staple the sides in, like put it up flat with some edges hanging down and staple them sideways. I don't know, we'll figure it out. So next Saturday we'll be doing one or the other. We'll either be climbing around onto the cabin in the snow, stapling this stuff up, or moving into the new house. Is it fair to call it a house if it's less than 200 square feet and you made it with the chainsaw? Probably doesn't fit the legal definition. Anyway, hope to see you next Saturday. See ya.